All right, Seneca the Elder, continuing. Now, he was accustomed to use this type of exercises, that on one day, nothing besides epiphonet, whatever the hell that is, it's emphatic sort of epigrams, he would write. On another day, he would write nothing besides enthymematas. On another day, nothing besides these things, which we call centennias appropriately. Translaticus is a common word, which have nothing implicated or nothing close with the controversy itself. So there's nothing tied in really close to them, but they're satisfactorily apt and transferred into other places, just as when we're speaking about things like fortune, cruelty, the age, and speaking of riches. Yeah, so translaticus probably means traditional here. Anyway, this type of sentiments or epigrams he'd call furniture type, or the stock type of epigrams. He was accustomed also to do schemata in whichever kind of controversies he would write these into, whichever one he was recuperating, whichever type he took up, he would use some sort of scheme in it. And men thought him to be lacking in this virtue of valour, when indeed or in fact his ingenium abounded with this type of endowment type of thing. He had this quality. It was not pleasing to him to bend from the point of the oration, nor ever did he leave off from the straight road or the right path, unless or except when this or necessity forced him, or a great usefulness, utility persuaded him. Otherwise he stayed on the right path type thing. Okay, so anyway, his judgment was pretty strict and confined. Anyway, 24, he denied schemas, or these ways set things out should be done, they're invented or found for the sake of decor or beauty, but subsidiaries, they were helpful, so that something which parlem openly would be about to offend your ears if they were said directly, but if he did it obliquely and slantwise and furtively, he would creep them in. They could creep in. Okay, so we're in accusative here. So it looks like to something it's permitted to be right. Summum dementia, the highest madness is to twist away from oration for something that to which could be directly. So he thought it was insane to go off the purpose of your oration when it's something that should be straight. Iam non means no longer, but no longer will I sustain you being delayed any longer, too tedious, for I know how odious a matter all this pomp is for me in the circus. That's the pomp, the procession, and the long drawing out of it. I will begin from this controversy, which first I remember my latronum to have declaimed when he was still fully a youth in the school of Marullus, when already he'd begun to lead the class or the school or something. Okay, so the capital letters must be the chapter heading. Liberi children, nourish their parents, support them, or they're vinciated, they're put in the chains in prison, which the Loeb says is a Greek law. There were two brothers, and they were in a disagreement amongst themselves. There was a son to one of them. The patrus, his father's brother, his uncle, fell into egesta, which is poverty. With the father vetoing him, the adolescent supported or nourished this uncle. Because of this, he was abdicated, he was disowned. He stayed quiet about it, tackwit. He was adopted by this uncle. The uncle, having accepted an hereditary estate or something, he was factus est rich. He was made rich from an estate. His father began to be in need. Then with his uncle vetoing, he nourished him, the father, and then he was disinherited by the second guy. This is of Porcius Latro. What are you casting at me? I think you're accusing me of luxury or something. For whatever we poured out as an expense was an immodest amount. Largation is the amount given. For this all was consumed in the alimentum, in the nourishment or feeding of two old men. When my father vetoed me, he was saying, he, the uncle, if I was in need, he would not give any nourishment and support to me. Now he was led, to hear that the ultimate of all his hope was placed in this home in which he had disinherited the guy and was hostile, inimicum. Okay, so here's the daily dictionary. Detalk away, turn, twist, pull away, deflect. So we saw that as the infinitive or passive there. Look, death oppresses the guy in poverty. What would you do? What Acutura says. What do you do? There's more to you, okay, in effrendering. So if you then in nourishing him. So the lobe translates efferendus as burying him. So a brother is more to you if you bury him than if you feed him. I guess it's because, so whoever asked this said, what further, what more? Is so rich a brother not able to nourish you? The most wretched old man has lost his blandament in stirpam here, which probably means his way to get a stipend or to beg for money because of your riches. So by your riches, this wretched old man is lost the way to beg, basically, because everyone says you've got a rich brother, he's not going to support him. And himself, who's vetoed me to be nourished. So do you call the imitation of another's guilt innocence, is what it says.